Treats for everyone. I would see that except you brought it. All right, we're going to call it to order at 9:04. Let's do invocation and pledge. Janice, would you do this?
God, thank you for this beautiful day and for allowing us to gather here. Thank you for providing our community with wonderful volunteers devoted to making Caldwell a better place. Help all the people who don't know you to find you, especially this week of Easter, and may the risen Christ protect us all. In your name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Until I didn't move home, I didn't know the Texas pledge, and now I can see the say it. I say it 3 or 4 times a week.
I still read it. I'm not from Texas.
All of a sudden, it's like, oh, there it is. All righty. We don't have any guests, although we do have one coming that's going to do a presentation. This one. Do we have minutes?
I
want to wait?
Terrible and have not had time to write. So
Okay.
Darn you.
We
will continue to pay for those.
My apologies.
All right. Committee reports. Janice, do you want to give a report on it? Real quick report. I did do a budget. If you'll take, just so everybody sees what we spent. Good morning. Just a quick summary on that, and then we'll get to the next one. Well, just what we did and how, and then that's the actual numbers.
Okay, so those that didn't, I think everybody helped with spring cleanup. It was a big disappointment, unfortunately. Don't know what we need to do to make it different or better. Didn't sell a whole lot of glasses. However, we have them for another event because they weren't labeled or anything. We still have wine and glasses, so we'll think it's a way to use them and whatever. So anyway.
And I think that's an appropriate thing to take about the committee meeting every other month.
Yeah.
But thank you for everybody helping. I think we put in the effort. We just somehow missed the enthusiasm quotient here in town for a number of reasons. You know.
The feedback I got was there was a lot. People just kept saying, "There's a lot. What do I have to do? What is the what?"
Oh, it was too much. It was
too
complicated.
I got a lot of people in the store that didn't buy it because they just were like, "I don't really get it."
Right. So
and understand what to do.
It's just too complicated.
Yeah,
it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, but also that's what I was curious of what the stores were seeing, because I mean we sat at the table and it was just like. It wasn't a great day buying a stretch for an event,
Right.
but the people that didn't buy a glass that came in,
You still had new traffic.
because I do on Saturdays, typically from out of town, but there were some other people that came in that were like, I saw it, but I really didn't understand it.
Yeah. Well, we got to.
And then a lot of people that I've talked to since said they never saw it.
Yeah,
Right.
I came across more people that never even heard of it that I texted like that morning or whatever. I'm like, hey, you gonna come up? I'll be up there, blah blah blah. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
But
So,
weird. Nobody had any idea that it was
For
going on.
chocolate champagne, we started promoting it in December.
Yeah.
For the second Saturday in February. So I think there's also and remember we talked about how many people we have following the Main Street page.
Yeah.
Versus
now.
So I think that also.
Yeah.
Is
And Chili Fest and Spring Break and all the other things that fought us.
Yeah.
Well, and it wasn't an event on Facebook until like the week of, and
Well, we've done the save the dates.
well, but if you do it at an event, it reminds you. It comes back and
back.
reminds you.
Yeah.
So
We did that late.
I think that'll help.
Yeah.
I think all those things can be fixed.
Yeah, I do too. But it was people at bingo had a ball. Everybody
Yes,
was very
yes,
appreciative of the
yes.
gifts. I don't know if y'all saw, we thanked everybody on Facebook.
Yes.
How many did you end up with at bingo?
Gosh, it was full. Yeah, I'd say it was full.
Mhm.
40 to 50 people at bingo.
But we didn't sell that many glasses.
No.
So they just
They
canceled the
came
bingo.
in. Yeah, well, they came in and some were just friends of people that were playing
That had
bingo.
gotten,
Yeah.
okay.
And it didn't matter the bingo because of the rules from the lottery commission. Everybody got to play bingo, and the only people that got to have door prizes were the people that participated in spring flingo.
That
So
makes sense, yeah.
we did reward the action,
Okay.
but the bingo was more fun. And shockingly, nobody seemed to have any qualms about it. Everybody was like, this. They either didn't understand to start with, so they didn't realize it, or they didn't care because it was fun and it was fun.
Yeah.
So, but overall, it was not the event that we were hoping for. I did do, and I'll pass those out. I forgot to photocopy them. I did a list of everybody that came, that signed in, and there's a couple of them that I want y'all to look at the forms and tell me who they are because I couldn't read it. So, anyway, moving on. Concert series. Everybody's booked, ready to roll. 2 contracts have been sent and down payments. I sent one yesterday to Tub and he didn't reply back. Leah's been working very hard, visiting with last year's sponsors and has got commitment by several, so we should be good as far as covering our band expenses.
One more set.
I think those are good.
Yeah.
I probably do. The notes I made were just people that I talked to, so
Oh, goodness.
Thank you.
just let me know who you talked to. Okay, and here's, I also did, and I hope I photocopied them all, I did a budget from last year, so y'all could see. I think we're set up for success. I think we're gonna have a great year. Everybody's been extremely receptive. Oh, here they are. To the numbers. The question that Janice and I think Nancy and I were talking about it as well, is what do we do for the people that want to contribute $250? There's really no difference between the benefit of giving $250 versus $500. I suggested, or even, I don't know, we kind of were talking about it just as I bumped into people about only letting the 250s be on a sign for one concert. But in conversations, it became a little bit insane because then we have to referee what signs are out. We have to maybe spend more money on the signs.
Mhm.
That seemed dumb. Then,
And you're advertising it as a series. That's
Yeah.
another thing. So like, trying to break it down and say, okay, but it would only be for this one.
just the one, yeah. And so then we thought maybe put the 250s on a bigger sign instead of the little sandwich boards because we had a lot of, and the logos got really tiny. Put it on a bigger sign and suggested hang that sign prominently for the first one, and then let's move that big 50 sign kind of out of the front visibility for the second and third one. But just kind of feature the 500s, the 1,000, and obviously 2,500s need to stay where they are. But I talked to Jim Wilde and said, you need to come in this year, and he said, what is it? And I reminded him of the details, and I said the levels, and in the conversation with him about 250, I was a little stumped, but he didn't seem to mind. I think he'll come in, which is nice because they didn't last year. But I did want to clear up everything. I've got a draft of a letter. We just need to make sure we're saying the same thing. And if it's just signage, then I think we don't have to clarify it unless somebody asks. The 250, 500, because nobody cared last year. I will say it never came up because I thought it was a big deal to have different benefits. It's just whatever they budget or want to put in.
Is there a way with, it might be too much work,
Is there a way to project that list on a building? Probably not. I'm trying to think of what building would be, rather than have another sign printed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know that there's
Not really a
a
building,
building
that
that we
would
could do it
face
on,
the
that you would see,
courthouse.
and we'd have to light it.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's a fine idea, but it's not gonna logistically work very well.
Get one of the companies that does the big concerts to
Yeah, the
do a
go,
light.
yeah, the go
Sure.
cars.
How much are fans, and do we wanna mess with that? We would have to literally clean up afterwards, like Colatch Festival.
I love those things.
Yeah.
It's time for us to probably have a planning meeting and spread out all the things. I've just been talking to people. I'm going out of town Friday for almost a week, and so I was freaking out that we weren't gonna have anything, and so I kept bumping into them, but I haven't sent anybody a letter until we could meet and talk about it and see if there's any concerns. This list is just from last year, and the few people that I know that we were planning to talk to. This is not exhaustive. It's time to get the money in. We need to have all the money by May 15th. I think that needs to be a reasonable expectation. I got the books back from Steffi. She is stepping down as treasurer. She is eventually leaving and not being able to serve in that role anymore. And we have paid the deposit for
Brown sugar.
and People's Choice. And with those and everything else paid up to date, we have about 11.8 in the bank, which is fine, but that's not going to pay for this concert series. So we've got to get the commitments. Catherine and Tyler have committed again for the title sponsorship. Cody at Citizens is in again, so I think we're going to have just as much success, but we need to raise more money this year and then apply. I've been working on the hot funds application to get us reimbursed for the cost of the videographer again and the band cost. And then maybe something else. I can't remember. Maybe the signage that Rodney does. So we're poised to profit, which we need. So we have some money to do some other things, but we got to get the money in the door. So we've got a logo to look at that I want to put on the letter, and if everybody signs off on the logo, I can get the letter out to everybody. You can do your own letters. Call me, I'll do them for you like we did last year. It just doesn't matter to me. We just need to start invoicing or sending stuff out to people.
I also think the banner needs to be hung by May 1st.
I talked to Rodney, and he said he could do that, and I talked to Taylor Locke yesterday. He has been very generous in the past with his time. He really, really feels strongly about our yellow banner that we like so much. He wants till next Wednesday to tweak it, and he will give it to us. And then we were going to ask Madeline to take a stab at the poster. The first poster Taylor did had some things that we liked, but mostly we didn't like it. So I was going to get with her and have her generate some new ideas because you're very good at that. And do the yellow. All he wants to do is change the font and the spacing. I mean, it's very minimal. He promised me he would have it. I said, if you don't get to it, we're going to fix it ourselves. And he said, okay. So with that, he did agree to sponsor again. So it's generous of him.
Just where they were last year, but keep them up, like between Allen's and Truist Bank, somewhere there in town, so people will drop through and see them.
Okay.
And then do low banners on the intersection 21 and 36, low on the ground by the crepe myrtle so people see them. And then Rodney was concerned that flags will not ever get to us in time, that he's had trouble with some of those. So I'm not sure. Starting in January, I would have gotten them, but we certainly don't have them yet to put downtown. So if we can get them, I even got a brochure in the mail, and I thought, all we need is a graphic. We do what we can, but we can start putting up the posters and all the stuff to all the town, and start. Madeline and I talked about doing a save the date, starting immediately. Start teasing the concerts, and then without it last, we don't need to tease for long. We need to say this is when they are, this is who's playing, and start promoting them. and crossing out of just our Facebook page so that all the Facebook pages pick it up. She's talking, what's the magazine that you're talking about?
Maroon Weekly, I think would be a good one to get an advertisement in. And then, KBTX is also gonna cover it for us.
Yeah, they're actually,
There's this other one piece, Brazos Christian Life magazine. Apparently, they put stuff about Caldwell in there already, I guess, from our website. So if we want to reach out to them,
Good.
add stuff in there too.
and then I think the radio ads. But last year we spent about 16 on the concerts all in, and it's gonna cost more because the signs are gonna cost more. So I know that we need to, start getting some money in the door. At the moment, we can't front every bill, so, but, just start talking to people, and then I'll send them a letter, y'all can send them a letter, I can send you the letterhead, whatever's easiest and quickest, and I can pick up checks, we can all pick up checks, obviously. And I can deposit, I can't take money out, but I can deposit, so we're good with all of that. Just, did you read that? I think it might be, I think we probably ought to have a concert meeting. No, not this week. Alrighty. You want to give your report on the big event plans?
Yes, but do you want to skip to mural stuff since she has to leave?
Yes, that makes great sense.
Okay, well, good question. I have no idea where we are, Carol.
Yeah.
I smile every time I see this one, and, so yeah, there's my report.
Okay, no, so, on mural one, we have the lights installed, so those have been done. We're gonna get them repositioned a little bit, but mural two is the big one that we have a situation with Russell. He's basically, like, he's not gonna be able to do it health-wise, he's not capable to do it. So, we need to discuss how we want to get a different artist to paint the design. We're getting reimbursed from A&M on 10 grand, so we only paid for one of the murals. And then that money can be put towards whatever artist we get, but I don't know of any local artists. We talked about reaching out to Brenham and Brian and see if they have artists that we can, like,
They obviously have murals.
Yeah.
And Russell doesn't have any recommendations.
We haven't heard.
So, okay.
His health is bad and he had a family death
Right.
as well, so he is just very sad at the moment.
So Clover.
Clover is a great artist, but she, I think she kind of works on her own timeline. And if it's something that we want done, especially before September, before the Collage Festival. Since it's designed, I think we could just hire a company that could do it. Because Clover's gonna have some, and want to
And
have
as
some
long as
design.
they're like trained in mural art,
That's it.
because that's, I mean.
It's a different, walls are different than. I think all we need to do is reach out to Brenham LaGrange. Giddings, I think, has one. Somebody was just talking to me about Giddings yesterday, and it's designed. We've accepted it. All it is we don't have to put out a bid because we don't have to put out a bid because
If it's under
that's right.
50, then we don't have to.
So we can just find somebody that satisfies and get the mural painted.
And I'm happy to reach out to the cities and look if you want.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Clearly somebody painted these other towns' murals.
Mural artist in Brenham, as many murals as there are.
And
And they're
then
all so pretty.
mural 3, so we asked to have students prepare some designs because that was part of the requirement for their class. It turns out their class ended in the fall and they did not do the class again in the spring. Wow. So, there's
Never mind.
students to actually do the work. G with Texas Art Communities reached out to some of the students that were in the class to see if they would be willing to do something. I don't know if they have provided anything, so
Such a
obviously
good
it's
idea.
not required now, so they don't really have to do that.
I would like to just say that I think, Kaylee and Madeline make a pretty darn good design team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if we want to do the same thing and have the design team work together to create the third design, or work with different artists, or put out a kind of like proposal for businesses to kind of take the lead on their own, and we would donate like basically a grant funded mural project for a business to do. So then it's just the business that has to really work on it, and then
I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
I can't think of a business in Caldwell that works.
Betty's the only one, and I have still not had a meeting with her about if anybody else wants to jump in on that, but I've been trying to get with Betty at BB&T, because that's, or Truist, because that's obviously the best other wall that I know of.
And I mean, like that case, so if we just grant funded money towards a mural, then we wouldn't have to go through all of the agreement and stuff, so it might be easier for like the two banks, if those are the two that we deem like the best walls to use next. That kind of takes that legality piece out of it. I mean, it would be them that take care of it, maintain it, and all that, and we would just provide some kind of grant.
There was a new guy at Prosperity.
There is, he has not been as active in some other organizations as we were hoping. I've met him, but I hadn't seen him when I thought he was gonna start participating in some other stuff. Is he in Lines? Because he's not participating in Rotary, and he's joined. I don't know.
Or if we do it that way, do we have any kind of input into the design, or is that totally up to the business? That's my only concern.
So we would have to write basically a grant, like policy procedure, and then in there, like if y'all want a say, or if y'all want to provide recommendations, then or have it come to y'all for final review. However, you want to do that.
It's been eye-opening to me
Mm-hmm.
on this last wall, what some people's visions are.
Yeah.
And I hate to just totally throw it to a business and say, go for it.
I do too, because if I were Betty, I'd put a big old Truist on there.
Well, and then you have no control over when they're going to do it or how they're going to do it. I mean, you can put guidelines out, but you can't make them do anything. And so
I think we need to get the second one painted, 100%. We all love it, and we need to regroup in the fall, because I think Friends needs to take the lead on it, and we need to get reimbursed from hot funds, and that's a lot of projects that we're fronting in my brain.
Yeah.
So, and meanwhile, maybe you and Kaylee and the design committee can work on. I think we've got the framework of an idea.
We could even make a contest out of the design, and put it out to.
some people might be more than happy for you to give them the design and not have to worry about
That's a good point.
doing it. But it's also their property. So,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I say our priority is clearly
To get
the next one up.
Right.
And
We'll see Forrest out there with the paper.
I put signs up.
What's our budget on that? Get it painted?
So each one with A&M would be $5,000. So that's target budget, but if we need to.
Okay, and if I'm checking.
Do a design contest and have a financial reward and let them turn in let people vote at Collage Fest.
I can email them, I've got a list.
Okay.
except it may take till then to get the wall approved.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, you don't have to have that on the timeline. Just create a contest. Let's kick a financial reward in. You get high school students, college students, you get anybody participating. See how many, even if you got a half a dozen designs and then let people make it a thing at Kolache Festival to go by and vote for your favorite mural. It gets involvement. You're bringing it into the biggest event that we have in the fall, so your chances of getting the votes and getting the numbers of people through there that's probably your best chance at getting the numbers of votes. And I would have no problem kicking in a financial reward or, get a sponsor or us even doing it. I mean, because we're going to have to pay for things anyway.
Right.
And
Well, and can you imagine being the winner of the design?
I know.
I mean, 'cause
And,
there's no
and
way
you
we
still
can say
have
who has to
design has to be pending approval by the board.
And
Right.
some
But-
guidelines of,
protect us.
But we could have the deadline to where we could approve the designs prior to the voting period.
And have so many choices.
And we have enough time to pull that together.
Yeah, I like that.
But I don't think every single mural has to, I mean, if you look at Brenham, every mural they have is not about Brenham or the name of Brenham.
Well, and the concept for the third one, the concept were cows and bulls. I mean, it was
And
a
that's what
very
I would
Western, different look.
I would do like 2 or 3 rules / guidelines of what the mural has to be
Right.
and let people's imaginations run wild.
Can your committee go forward on that? I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I can find some example, because I've seen like mural contest things for other cities. I can see if I can find some what their
Okay.
guidelines are.
Yeah, I like that idea. And then we've got more buy-in and hopefully our goal is to have the second one painted by co-op, clearly.
Right.
And that's the thing is you've already got 2, so then you've got people kind of being like, oh, hey, that's cool. And then I think there's a lot of people out there that would think that was cool. Artistic people, not me.
Yeah.
But artistic people would think that was really cool that they would have the opportunity
To get in on it.
to get in on it.
Well, and it's the third one, so like you're saying.
But you've got to have a financial reward that's enough that for them to put the time and effort in, not just like the cool factor of hey, my mural could be on a wall. Like hey, I could win $500 or hey, I could win $1,000. Like make it worth their effort of putting it in.
I love that.
I do too.
All right, good. All right.
So going back up to big event plans, so the big event kids are going to work on this flower bed and get it ready for plants.
Okay.
If we all want to get plants, I can get plants in the next 2 days and have them plant them, but if y'all would rather wait and kind of look and shop
Is there
around,
water that's going to be?
there's a water hose.
Oh, there's a source of water.
I can put a soaker hose in the flower bed.
Okay.
I will personally go out there and turn it
I
off.
don't want to put in to be dead plants. Because it's about to get hot.
So, if y'all would like me to get plants, we can use the same style of plants that we've used elsewhere. If y'all want me to wait, then I can wait.
If the kids are there to plant them, let them go ahead.
I know.
Just finish it.
Yeah.
Just finish it.
Okay. And then they're also gonna be working on the front flower bed here. They're gonna remulch all of the flower beds around the square. They'll be
And
at
weed
the
them.
and weed them, and then they'll be at the library, putting mulch and de-weeding those flower beds, and painting the memorial at the civic center. Those posts and new chain to go around that. So quite a lot of.
The new shrubs at the civic center look nice.
Yes, they did a good job. So,
Shrubs, they put in a whole bunch of shrubs.
and then we might have to take out crepe myrtles at the civic center, so you might see some demolition, but we'll be replacing those with probably grass, and then waiting until the fall to replant, just because trees, it's not the time of year to plant trees. So that's kind of the update with all of that stuff. But lots of cleanup projects, so it's looking better. But
The county down there, they're horrible right now. Oh my gosh.
Kind of brown. Yeah, exactly.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the more we do, the more we can pressure them to do more. So, wonderful. All right. Moving back. I want to jump ahead to Tracy and you. Yeah. As y'all know, Tracy's here as our guest. She has taken the lead on a idea that she's gonna present to us that a lot of us have talked about, that I'm real excited about, and then we have some considerations to make. Tracy?
Well, I'm gonna pass these around while I'm talking, because I like pictures.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's just one set, so just pass them. Actually, I have, are they the same ones that you did before?
Possibly.
Okay.
But I did print them all in color.
Okay.
Because before they were in black and white. So, this was our idea about doing a pocket park in this parking lot right here. This is one that's in downtown Atlanta. I took pictures of, measurements of, and then sat down with Leah and Forrest and kind of talked about, this is the idea we're looking for. It's probably bigger than what we're gonna want out here. That's gonna be something that we've got to figure out, but, I think that it will work good there. It's right by that mural. It's kind of the same design of this parking lot. And I've got a landscaper that's already, lined up that he does. I think he actually did this one, and he's going to give us a bid on what that's gonna cost. It's just, we do have to have, like Forrest just mentioned about the water with the little plants that they're about to put in. Without that, you're gonna have dead plants.
Mm-hmm.
So, we do, that's kind of a logistical thing too, is to bring in water and electric to make sure that it doesn't, just take a nosedive as soon as we get it all done. But as you can see in this one, this was a big tree that was obviously already there. And, so the idea is to put a crepe myrtle tree there, instead, and then do like a fountain, some benches, and just some minimal landscaping. They've got a lot of crushed granite that keeps it from being in that photo there, so everything is not plants. But those little split pavers that are there, a lot of those have names in them that local people donated, so that also helped with the expense, and it brought the community more into the project itself. So, anyway, I think that would be.
I love it. And it would continue our theme of doing stuff downtown. It would bring a needed green space into that ugly parking lot, and the mural's right there, so it would tie together. If we could put some art into the park, we could theoretically apply for hot funds for some of the costs. This is not an insignificant project.
No.
This is not something the city's going to front. We're never gonna get it, I mean, we can put it into our work plan and get it approved for, I bet 2 years from now is where we're looking. So if we want to move forward on this, Tracy is willing to chair the committee to put the plan together, get the prices, find out. Forrest is gonna talk to Thomas and Jerry about what it really involves to drag power over the, it's all close, but close doesn't work with a tree. And so we can put a budget together, but we have to see if the will of our committee, if this wants to, if we want this to be a project, we're going to have to front the money. And then hopefully get paid back and do all the things that could magically help us offset the cost.
And this would be located where?
This parking lot.
A portion of it, like drop into it. So the parking wouldn't completely go away. You were there that day.
Just like here, there's parking all around it. I probably should have taken a picture of the whole thing so you could get a better idea. I was just at that time taking pictures of just that little section that's there. And again, this is probably a little bit bigger, because when you're on the other side of it, it's rectangular shaped. And so, I think it will, the way we need to do it is probably that same shape, but not quite that big, because that parking lot is also a little bit bigger than this one. It's in downtown.
But there's a fountain, there's seating, it's just a nice tranquil little spot.
Mm-hmm.
And with the mural right there, it might help promote, especially during our hotter seasons. If we could add just a little bit of pleasing green, I think that would serve us well as we try to do more beautification
Right.
out and around.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the way I see it primarily being used there is whenever Broome is just where everybody from out of town comes on the weekend. It's pretty rare that you see a whole lot of local people, but they're walking around, they're shopping, they're getting ice cream, and then they're just sitting down and looking at everything. So it kind of gives them a little spot to just kind of sit and chill out for a little bit and get up and wander around some more. And that's the purpose of it. And
The dance girls will love it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And old.
Bye, Betsy.
so Betsy, stand and vote. So do we need to take action to, oh, okay. Do we have a motion
I move
to,
that we move forward with the plan, however you need to word that.
I second that.
any more discussion on moving forward with the plan? This is not adopting a plan, this is getting a plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So motion's carried. Farewell.
Now you do that.
And will, anybody that wants to help, Tracy's going to want and seek everybody's input. And as she gets more, we need numbers, and Thomas and Jerry are going to get in that conversation about how much. There's three
Jeff and Jerry.
transformers,
Jeff and Jerry.
Jerry and Jeff. And dragging those services there and see how much of that part of it. And what the city might, we may try to figure out how to structure this so that the city puts in some infrastructure of its money or resources or time, labor, and then we're paying hard costs. But this is what I was alluding to. The concert series needs to pay for itself, obviously. And then we need money for these types of things because this doesn't have to be a 2-year project. This can be a project that we see completed in a relatively short amount of time as soon as we have the money to pay for it.
Do you think you would add any lighting?
Absolutely.
Because I know there's lighting at that park. I've been to that one, but that was daytime.
In those poles, there's one photo of because Forrest has been doing decorative light poles around all of downtown. There's one that's like that, and I think there's another picture that's not in the second, that's a pole. So that, and then
You could light the
you can
fountain.
do yes, and the way that fountain
It can't be dark.
It spills over and it's got the deal at the bottom, so it's just recyclable. But it does come out and onto the ground and then it goes through that pump and comes back. But just even, trying lights and stuff.
As I said, if you're making it like rectangular-ish, you could just do 4 corners.
Right, and then like the light, those patio lights, just frame it out with lights. And then, when Shirley was running for city council, Griff had said on multiple occasions that his dad was the artist, Dr. Joe Smith, and that they have all of these pieces of art that he wanted to be placed around downtown, around Caldwell. And so, somebody can approach him and say, do you have, a couple that you would like to be placed out there? I think that would be a great spot to start with the art sculptures.
I've contemplated, because I'm trying to fill out forms for all kinds of different applications. And we have to think, we might want to think of a name, and I think we ought to name this Founders Park. Because I think we could dedicate those pavers to families. There's a lot of legacy families. We could name the lights. We could have sponsors for all of it.
Yeah.
The high school softball field, which is a fairly new facility, they did the bricks. Yeah. And they only had X number of spaces. Well, they ended up having to do another wall because it was such a successful promotion. So I think people are into buying those personalized bricks or something, so, and that's the only place in town, I think, that has that. There's no other place.
Well, in those split papers that she has shown pictures of, they have people buying, and so I just kept thinking.
Right, no, I think that's a
I
great
think
idea.
it would do well.
I think there's a lot of pride with these families. It doesn't have, and then we don't have to make it a check mark, any name kind of culture. We can make it Caldwell family, and then obviously anybody that wants to participate. But I thought we could have a lighting sponsor, we can have the fountain sponsor, we can have.
And see, the entrance, I think it's one of those, I didn't zoom in enough, but there's a few little pairs right at that one entrance you walk in, and it says Blue Bonnet Garden Club, because that one helps sponsor that little area too and maintain the plants and things in it. So I don't know if Caldwell has a garden club, but they would probably, if they did, that would be a good thing to pull them into as well too, because that's an attraction.
You could also do, there's so many wonderful civic organizations, they could do adopt a month.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
that for that month, they're responsible for.
Right, there's a lot of ways to run with it and keep it maintained, and it just brings more charm again.
I love this idea. And I think it's a tangible thing that we can also go to our sponsors all year long and say, we're putting something, we've got the white lights, we've got the murals, we've got things that look different. And I think all the other work that we do is very important, but we need some tangible things that we can attract visitors. And I mean, the paper will run with I think all the powers will support this. But first step is to get a plan, and Tracy has been willing to lead that, but she's gonna need help, so we need to support her.
Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think this is a good project that will help catalyst for the whole overall design plan that we'll be working on and putting together. Because I mean, a lot of the pieces like that would be in this pocket park can be reflected in other pieces like the alleyways and the other pocket parks and whatever else we decide. But yeah.
It'll feed off a lot.
Super, thank you very much. All right, do you want to come back up and do you want to pass it out? I didn't know what the step was you wanted to take on the.
So the committee guidelines and agreements, we have the basic draft and overview. It's basically the workbook that we had done like when I first started. Basically fixing that and then adding in each committee's responsibilities and what projects they've worked on or will work on and things like that. So we can send it out via email to y'all, or we can print them out and y'all can look at them, and then we can talk about them at the committee meeting. Because that, I mean, it affects y'all, but in a sense, like, it's more of the committees so they can actually see, like, what exactly they'll be working on, because I know that piece is kind of what they're missing. And then with that, did we want to talk about the co-chair and having a board member kind of represent?
I think that's kind of understood. We need at least a chair of each committee. And if we have, like, Tracy is gonna be a part of the Economic Vitality Committee by nature of this, or design, I don't know kind of which one it falls in, so that's nice, it crosses over several. And so we need to all serve as a co-chair, a chair, we just need to make sure we don't have any that don't have some leadership, even if a committee works independently of there's another example that I'll give in a minute of something that will fit under the Economic Vitality Committee. So just when we get the guidelines to you, would everybody like them emailed and you can take a glance at them? We've done about 10 versions of these, and I press to have them very minimal so that we're not scaring people off with the commitments, but finding a way to describe these committees so people can actually figure out what we're asking them to do.
So let's send them. And then we can take action next month on any of it. And then if you have any input, if you say this doesn't make sense or you're forgetting something, please communicate with any of us about that.
And then the updated logo and name tag. So,
I forgot to send myself a name tag, but I can describe it.
so Madeline and Leah have kind of worked on updating the logo. Do you have what it looks like?
We need something that's not orange.
Yeah. So
it looks like a photo
It
of
looked like
the
the
top
old
of the building.
Longhorn.
Yes.
The old Longhorn.
Yeah.
So it's still keeping that same element, but ultimately this is easier to be used on variations of marketing materials and everything. So if you want to explain kind of what you've done with it.
Yeah, so basically I had a friend of mine who's actually a tattoo artist. I had her go in and draw the art on the,
We don't all have to get a tattoo.
right? No, we do not. You don't have
This
to
is
put
the new
this
thing.
in.
Everyone will be tattooed.
So I had her draw it to where I could change the color of the art of all the things. So when we come up with like a color scheme for Main Street, which could be the mural colors, whatever, this can be used on lots of different things. We could put it on, polo shirts, name tags. So the name tag idea was where it says Caldwell, it would be first and last name, last initial, whatever. And then underneath where it says Main Street Program, it would say Caldwell, Texas, Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically the same
I
thing.
think we need name tags. When we go to events, when we're sitting, selling, or signing people up, I think
I think it would be
magnetic name tag would be an appropriate thing.
So this can be colored any kind of way. We could put it on stickers, we could put it on posters. I've already put it on the website. What's ready can be put on the website, whatever.
I think upon looking at it for the week, I think it needs to say Caldwell, and then I think it needs to say Texas Main Street Program.
Okay.
Because of the Caldwell, Idaho thing.
Yeah.
That's true.
And if we use this brand, this logo on all kinds of things, it needs to just, distinguish us as a Texas Main Street.
So the other piece of that is looking at it. If you've been to downtown Bryan lately, the new street signs that they have the Queen crown.
Yeah.
So looking at that, this is easier for us to replicate on a street sign or on a wayfinding sign or a flag or whatever elements we want to use. So that way we can better brand Main Street and where that area is and all that kind of stuff. So
For those of y'all that were here from the beginning and with the Longhorn and all that, does that honor the look?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
much cleaner.
we need something.
I think it's good.
Because I tried to put the old one on letterhead last year for the invoices and all that, and it just looked bad. We needed something that was more graphic. And the black and white can be reproduced.
So motion.
I make a motion, we adopt the new Main Street logo and that we get name tags.
And we add Texas to it.
Does it need to say program? Could it say Caldwell, Texas Main Street? Does it have to say program? Well, I don't know if it makes Main Street city. I think city's better than program. Texas Main Street City. I'm trying to make sure that if the Main Street, the organization itself, because I guess we're a Texas Main Street City.
Yeah.
I think that's better than program.
I like it better.
I like that better.
Either city or town or.
I think cities, because that's on all their.
Texas Main Street City. I like that. One of the early drafts had 2014, and we were like, that's going to make it look like we think we started in 2014 versus Main Street was designated. Nobody cares. Okay, I like that. So the motion is amended with those changes. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Excellent. Thank you, Madeline. I'm really pleased about that. because I had put a draft on letterhead with all our little names down on the side. Pass that around real quickly. For the letters, I haven't sent this. This is just a draft of it that I can send you. You can send. You can have me send. It's just the same letter as last year, and it lists the new concert dates so that we can. Everybody I've talked to said, "Send me something, or bring me something."
Like it.
Wonderful. All right. We have done a good job of covering everything in our own order. Board questions, comments, or concerns? I do have two things. May 19th and 20th, Betsy and I are going to Fredericksburg to a Texas Municipal League. It's training for small town leaders, and because we have nothing in common with Bryan or Austin, so it's strictly for small towns, and it's different seminars: economic development, how to promote your community, how to lead your community. So Fredericksburg is a fun place, but the classes that they have for a couple of days all sound wonderful, wonderful. So
I'm tickled y'all are able to go.
and the city is paying for Janice's expenses, and we paid for Betsy's entrance registration. And then after I'm officially sworn in as mayor, one of my things that I would like to do is visit with the chamber about the Kolach Festival, because we didn't have it in 2020 because of COVID, and then trying to come back last year, it was not near the crowd that we've had in the past. And although this is a chamber-sponsored event, they are the ones that get the money. This is actually a community event. The city of Caldwell is very instrumental in supplying $15,000 worth of labor for that day specifically. And the Kolach Festival, we're the Kolach capital. That is what defines Caldwell. And we can't let it die. We can't let it continue on a dwindling path. This needs to be the year that we really bring it back to life. And it's not the volunteer group, it's the same people. And granted, the Kolach committee is a fine-tuned machine. The people that are volunteers, they've done this for years. They know exactly what they're doing, and it's not that things need to be changed. It just, we've got to enhance some things. We've got to do some things that people want to come back to Caldwell for this festival. We cannot let it die. So, anyway, that's just one of my things.
You're gonna meet with the chamber to.
I want to meet with the chamber board because not one person from the board comes to any of these meetings. The chamber board members have never, ever, since I've been involved in the festival for 10 years, no one has ever participated in anything with the festival yet. Again, this is what defines Caldwell. And so we just need to really pump up promotions. The vendor game last year was horrible. We need twice as many vendors. We have the space to do it.
There were a bunch last year that just
and then didn't show up. Right. And so we just need to be reaching out today with Kolach bakeries. Can you come and sell your kolaches? That needs to all be done starting today. And like I said, it's just, to me, it's very important. I think to a lot of people in Caldwell, it's very important to keep it alive and going.
It's definitely the most visible event.
Well, like I said, we're the Kolach capital. It is what our murals, So, like I said, I just think we need a giant refresh of the festival. So,
Janice, can I
Sure.
say one more thing?
Sure.
Since you're talking about bakers, so right down the road from where I live in Rome is a bakery, and the man that runs it, he even asked me about coming to Caldwell, and he sells some of the best kolaches
we need a name and
I've ever
number.
had.
Yeah, name and number. Then shoot it to me in email or whatever, some contact information.
All right.
Yeah.
It's Michael's Bakery.
For Weigel's?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Because
their main one is in LaGrange.
Yes.
They have one in Kearney.
Yes.
They have one in Rome. and.
They're good.
Yes.
Oh my God, they're really good. And he said that he would love to do a Michael's here if he could get someone interested.
We're interested. At the first planning meeting a couple weeks ago, one of the discussions was inviting community members to make collages to sell for the day.
And I wants mine.
Well, it's not that. I said, I would think that they would have to have a food handler's license.
Yeah.
And so they said, oh, no, you don't. And I
Well,
said,
but they relaxed a lot of the cottage, what is it?
Oh, yeah.
There's different rules now. That's how these people sell on the square for the, every Saturday for the farmers market.
ah.
Because it does apply, that'd be the same rules.
Same thing.
Okay. So.
I don't know
anyway.
exactly what they are, but I know that there has been some change in the last maybe couple of years. With that, the state legislature changed.
Awesome. Well, that's good news then. So anyway, but that was one of the things.
But I
to
still
just
don't want to
get.
buy it.
Yeah.
That was one of the things to just try to get more collages to sell to people.
Well, and that's, last year there were a lot of people, that came through the shop. Well, I mean, my street wasn't closed off. So once they climbed over all the cars that were parked in front of my business, they came in and, they were like, the collages are gone. Like, I thought I was getting here early enough and everything was fine.
I've never had one on the day of.
I don't
35
want
years.
them on the day
Yeah.
that they do it because they've been making them all week. I can go every second Saturday to Jake's.
Or you could go to.
I can go to Rock and G. I can go wherever. So I don't know, but a lot of people come to want to eat them, and there's not enough.
Exactly.
So maybe that would,
Right.
or maybe there's like a different. I don't know. I'm not in your committee, but maybe that's a whole different category of a contest.
Oh, yeah.
Home bakers, like not, or maybe not home bakers because I guess they're all. There's
For
some,
the contest, they're all home bakers.
they're all home bakers.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's commercial and there's home.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said, that's just one of my things is to get the chamber board to understand the importance of the
Participation.
participation. And
I've
like
never
I
seen
said,
them.
this is not just, like I said, yes, the chamber does the work, but this is a community event. So,
I agree.
Well, and I could see
I think the whole
Main
city
Street
needs better
having-
representation.
yes,
a table of whatever is an appropriate place. I think the visibility for Main Street, by then we can have welcome brochures, we can have things that advertise what we're doing, anything without us necessarily setting up, I don't want to sell shirts, you know.
Susan has a big information booth that,
the builder. Yes.
the builder back here.
Yes.
Farmhouse Twins.
Yes, lets her use. She has, I mean, you could just put information.
And maybe
with
we
hers
could
and not making the
just
job.
offer to man it for a little bit. I like those ideas. I think it's not us versus them.
No,
for this.
no,
And so
not
that's the point.
No,
More is
not
better.
at all. It is not like, Main
They're
Street
doing
needs
it.
to just, no, it is, the bottom line is, this is a community event that really the community needs to jump back in and get involved, not just the 5 volunteers that have been doing it, so.
I think that's great. Catherine, did you have anything?
No.
They've
been so good.
They have. I have something. I met with Kaylee Vavra last week or the week before about the National Main Street America website and program has on it a link called downtowntexas.org that links directly through all the way down to us. All you have to do if you're in Idaho and want to look up Caldwell, Texas, or small towns, it'll say these are the Main Street cities in Texas. You can pick Caldwell, then it goes to our website page, and on there, Madeline has done a very good job. Y'all need to go back on the city's website. It is much more accessible.
It's cleaner. I did see it.
It's much.
It's great.
It's a very nice update. On our page, there are what I call boxes. Well, they're boxes. And on one of them, it says properties for sale.
I updated that.
Okay.
Now it just says downtown property.
Okay, good.
because it used to say properties for sale. You click on it and it showed 1970s pictures of buildings around town and a poor collection of information about each property. The questions are designed from the Historic Commission from a Main Street side. So they're the main questions say, are they landmarked? All these things that very few are ever going to fit. But there are other questions. Bottom line is, it was abysmal, and it's very difficult to say any of us want to sit and input it and keep it up to date. And who benefits the most from that, other than us as committee and Main Street board members? So I asked Kayla to form a committee of realtors. Ask every realtor in town, in the county, whichever power broad she wants to go, to have a representative sit on the committee, divide up all the properties, like the streets, however you want to do it, and update these things and maintain these inventories, so that when you look on it, it's real information. And if it's for sale, we can put the link of the realtor on there, so that there's some skin in the game for them, but it is not just a realtor page. And I think I wanted to add to the videographer contract this year that she take a professional photo of the fronts of every one of those buildings listed. The Ruby Lou's is still yellow and pink with no signage on the picture, because that's the last time it sold.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible. Some of the pictures are bad because they're bad pictures. Somebody cried. There's a picture on there, but they need to be updated. And I thought we could remove any sense of competitiveness between the realtors by having our professional photographer do it. We're going to get reimbursed for hot funds on all of the work that Reagan's going to do again for us this year. And that's one thing I thought we could put on her list. Kaylee's forming the committee. It would be under economic vitality. Tracy, obviously, because she sells insurance and has taken a role, and she has agreed to serve on that committee, maybe co-chair, so that we don't have a realtor company versus a realtor company. Kaylee didn't feel like that was going to be perceived as a competitive thing. Kaylee's the only realtor that's participated in any of our stuff, so I didn't have any problem going to her first. But there's no reason to create a scenario where they feel like we've chosen, because it's not going to ever say that. But Tracy's agreed to chair it if we need it, and to co-chair if we need it, and to participate so that we get the information on there within the guidelines that we're given, because this is not our creation. But it's something visible. It's not going to get turned off, so I don't want it to look as bad as it does. And so more people bringing it in will also have, there's a lot of properties for sale downtown right now, if y'all know this.
Who's painting the white? Was the candy store?
Caesar's got it for sale.
Yeah, okay.
With the realtor and Brian.
And I talked to two people yesterday about that building.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, whoever is the new State Farm.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name either.
The big long name.
Is it Nick? He came walking down the alley one day when I was getting something out of the back of my car, and I was like, nobody. He does not fit the profile of people that I find walking. I was like, are you lost? Anyway, he asked about, like, he was looking to buy property.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest.
Maybe change his office or something. I think
so. I like it to look better.
White's better than the yellow.
Better is better.
But did he approach, again, he knows that he could get a grant, a facade grant, and he just won't. He just won't.
Yeah. Tracy told me yesterday that she is going to pursue her facade updates this year, and then apply. She has a standing application with us that she's tabled because of all the different things that have happened. But they're alive and well. There are people taking advantage of it. Longhorn got a whole bunch of design information from the State Historic Commission and Main Street designers through Forest, through accessing our free services. So people are taking advantage of it. It's just,
I'd like to still see us do a
like a town hall sort of meeting with property and business owners
Yes.
downtown.
I think that's
Just
still
to
a
let
very
them know
good,
what Main Street is doing and what, is there something that's really important to them that they would like addressed?
There's more participation in our committee structure. I mean, we were delighted last month. And so I think that will continue as we have more projects and things to talk
And
about.
let people have some ownership of it and
Yeah.
they are proud of it.
Anything else?
No, that was just the
That was
Main
your
Street.
second? One? No. All right. Well, with that, thank you. Tracy, second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. Thanks for everybody for coming. And I will send out the graphics from Taylor the minute I get them, and we will go forward. Oh, how did we do that? I think we should have.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
But
I'll share them again.
can you download them on a flash drive?
For what else? I can't sit. I sent
it to me.
sent hers to her.
Let me see. I mean, I didn't have mine though. I don't know.
Well, you've got the one they use for Brass Valley Gives, I think.
I have those two.
So if he had one more, that's in the content to get paid. Thanks, Kim.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I need you. Do you have another 5 minutes? I'll fill out the form.